Hey everybody, this is the buildable BB-8 promotional poly bag that LEGO gave away as a gift with purchase as part of the 2018 May the 4th event. I personally didn't have any new Star Wars stuff left to buy at that time, so I just got this off eBay from someone who did buy enough of the Star Wars stuff on that event, and that's why it took me a little while longer to get this. So there it is, all built up. And if it looks a little bit odd to you, that's because it is somewhat odd in that it is listing very strongly to one side and kind of to the front here. You see it's not standing up. And that's not my fault. I didn't do that. It just won't stand up on its own. The way it's built, it has 5 of these identical new and exclusive printed dish pieces. One on the base just has its natural stud just exposed there, and then 2 on opposite sides have a light gray, relatively recent, relatively new quarter round corner tile piece, and then the other 2 on the sides have just studs. And then they have this actually pretty cool mechanism. It's the simplest thing to allow the head to move around. So it's got kind of that bobblehead kind of look to it, which makes it look really cool, I think, when you're just holding it. And the size of this is much larger than I expected it to be. I guess I could have just looked at the pictures and realized exactly what size it was going to be based on the pieces, but it's bigger than I expected by a fair margin. And it feels good to just have in your hand like this. Kind of rolls around naturally, and you have that little bit of clackety clack motion of the head and the sound of it that just, I don't know, it just feels kind of cool. It's a very bobblehead like thing. There's only one major problem that I have with this, and that is the fact that it won't stand up. If only it had a hollow stud there or something. I mean, ooh, that's the first time I've been able to get it to actually balance. The very first time. But it's a very fragile balance. What this needs is just anything underneath it to hold it up, either like a plate piece, or you could use one of those 2x2 round tiles with a hole in the center with the Technic sized hole. There's actually one of them in this set, but it's in red. But like a white one would be perfect to hold this up. And just being able to display it like this would be great. I'm fine with the head always being tilted over to one side. You could always replace the universal joint piece with just a couple more Technic pieces, and it would stay perfectly straight up if you want that. It just requires a little bit of modification. I don't mind the fact that these 5 dishes are the same print. They ideally would be different, but I'm okay with it. Just the slight different attachment on them I think is fine. And I really like this head print. That is very nice. Now, I never, or almost never, have good luck with head prints for Star Wars astromech droids, and this one is not too much of an exception. You can see the distance between the silver ring there and the base of the piece is fairly large here compared to here at the front where it gets smaller. So the whole thing is kind of leaning forward, but it's not bad in this case. Even for me, even with my bad luck, it's not that bad. And it overall is done nicely, pretty crisp, looks good to me, and overall, I'm happy with this. Just needed a stand. The size, again, surprised me in how large it is. It does not scale well at all with this larger than minifig scale R2-D2 unit that they did not too long ago. Given how close these are to each other, I kind of would have expected them to be somewhat compatible in scale, but they kind of aren't. I mean, I think BB-8 is larger than a lot of people recognize in universe, but it's not that big, So, that's no big deal. No little deal? I don't know how you're supposed to say that, but yeah. I was expecting it, I guess, to be a little bit closer to this. But we got something that's larger, and again, it's a gift with purchase. You don't have to make a purchase if you don't want to, I'm happy with it. I will display mine on some sort of stand. Very simple. Put a piece or so under there. Probably put it into my Star Wars droid collection, and I'll be happy with it. I really like holding it in the hand, though. That head thing, that was really smart. I should show you how that was done. from the instructions. There we go. This is actually the bottom. So where the stud, there is no stud. We're looking at it like this. So there's a universal joint that gets attached onto that with just an axle. And then you turn the whole thing upside down. Turn it upside down. That's what we're looking at here. So you see just that little bit of universal joint sticks up in the center, and it's just kind of free floating. And then the head just has a axle pin in it. That's that great tan piece right there. That just gets attached inside, and it works. Overall, quite satisfied with this thing. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.